every home should have a first aid box.
Okay.
But unfortunately, not a lot of homes have first aid boxes in their homes.
Am I guilty?
And you do not even have to have the big one with the big green
cross sign on it.
Big green collar and then the red cross sign on it that says first aid. You don't even have to have that. Usually when we buy things come in boxes, in plastic containers and all of that.
Okay, I have a first aid box.
You can use one of those, recycle one of those into a first aid box.
Convenient container is okay.
Exactly.
That can close.
Exactly. That can close
properly.
properly because you do not want your kids to
Or
access
dust.
it and all of that, and you do not want it to be exposed to the elements because a lot of medications are stored in a cool, dry place, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you get this box or this bucket, something that is convenient and easy to carry, what are the things that you need to put in there that will serve as a first aid material when the need arises? Of course, you have your number one on that place, on that box or in that box, the analgesics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something to relieve pain
relievers.
and fever. Pain and fever, because this is a malaria climb, right? And so the first sign of malaria is when you start having chills and rigors and fever, and then you want to bring that fever down. So the first thing that should go into that first aid box is your analgesic, your anti-malaria, the one that works for the family. There's no family that does not know the anti-malaria that works for them specifically, because there are lots and lots of anti-malarias in the market. But for a specific family, there's a specific one that works for you, irrespective of the first line of choice for anti-malaria.
Where does the place of having a test before you take medication comes in with the having anti-malaria drugs, in your first aid box?
Remember, we have the rapid test kits. They're easily available now. Now, in that first aid box that we're talking about, after your analgesic gets in there and your anti-malaria gets in there, please go to any pharmacy store. They have the rapid test kit. It's unfortunate that I don't have it on display today. It's a little thing, just like the size of this forefinger, that you just put in there. And it's very easy to do the test. You prick your finger, you drop the blood there, it passes from one chamber to the other. It says positive or negative, meaning
you put the test liquid there.
So it's very, very easy. It just comes in a box like this. Everything that you need to do is there. The instruction manual, everything is there. What else goes in your first aid box? Plaster, what we call the band-aid. In Nigeria, we call it the plaster. It goes in there for cuts and bruises. When children are running up and down, mommy, where's the fried chicken? And then they trip over something that they have left there in the first place, and then they bruise their knee or something. Mommy, quickly, before you put the band-aid, you need the cotton wool, and you need the methylated spirits.
The methylated
to clean the area, to swab the area, to make sure you do not band-aid, bacteria back into the poor child's body and cause the wound to become inflamed, right? Now, if you do not like iodine, you can use Povidone.
Yes.
It's milder than iodine.
But it has the same
effect.
Yes, disinfecting effects.
They're basically antiseptics.
To stop spread of infection.
Exactly. All right? Now, you can also put gauze in there.
What's gauze?
Gauze is like a woolen, like a cotton,
net. It's a woolen net.
A cottony net.
Like that net, yes. So it allows the wound to breathe.
It's not as occlusive as the band-aid, right? So you put it in there.
Or plaster.
Yes.
What is occlusive?
Covering.
Because
they are listening to you.
It doesn't cover completely without the ability to breathe.
So that air can pass through.
Yes, and help the healing process.
Okay.
Good. Now, you don't forget the scissors. Because if you have the band-aid in there, you have the gauze in there, you're going to need the scissors
to cut
through, so that you can take the quantity that you want to do the job at hand that you want. Now, something else that the gauze does, something very fantastic that the gauze does is, if peradventure somebody has a fracture, right? And you do not want to start looking for a cloth to tear and use it to wrap up the fracture with a splint. A splint is any good, clean wood. 2 pieces of wood that you can use.
It's rigid.
So that the person is not moving.
You can use to put on both sides of the fractured arm or leg. You put one of the splints here. It's called the splint. A wood here, another wood here. You can use the gauze to bind it in place before you take the person to the hospital, because you do not want that fracture to become worse and involve the nerves and the arteries, okay? So that there's no paralysis going on afterwards.
Okay.
That goes into the first aid kit as well. Now, if you want to take it one step further, you can have, if there's a medical personnel in that family, maybe a doctor or a nurse, you can have your infusion in the first aid kit.
What's infusion?
Infusion is the drip.
That's what we call it here.
Drip.
You have the drip that they give you in the hospital. You have the saline, the one that has salt in there, and the one that has sugar in there. And then you have the one that really, really treats dehydration when somebody has been
But
having
Like an ORT.
that's only if you have a medical person in the
Personnel,
family.
that's how I
you mean?
qualified it before
Yes,
I started.
yes.
So you have the Ringer's lactate in there or the Hartmann solution in there also. Now, if you do not have a medical personnel, please do not put any of these that I've mentioned, the infusion, the drip, right? Now, what you put instead is the ORS that they prepare so beautifully now. And it's very easy, it's very common, it's very cheap in the supermarkets or in the pharmacies.
What is ORS?
So you have the oral rehydration salt, right? The oral rehydration salt, which we call the salt sugar solution. Okay, the salt sugar salts, or the salt sugar solvents, or that they have
Solution.
Yeah.
Because before it's a solution, you have to put it in water before it becomes a solution. Otherwise, it's a solvent first. They're just powdery.
Sachet.
Comes in a sachet.
It comes in a sachet and it's powdery, right? So you have that, and you put it in there. And another thing comes with it. It comes with tablets of zinc tablets. That comes with the ORS. Remember we say it's a salt sugar solution?
Yeah.
So it's in there together. The instruction leaflets are always there. So you be sure to mix it the way they have asked you to mix it. 600 to 1 liter.
And that's very important because panic can make people forget all these things
Be
sometimes,
sure.
and you just
Be
want
sure
to
because
put
you're
it in
trying to
water and
replenish
use it,
the
right?
electrolytes that have been lost from vomiting and diarrhea. So you need to put it and mix it in the right proportion. And remember that it expires after 24 hours.
That's right.
And you must put
Once
it in
it's
a
mixed,
sealed,
right?
Yes, you must put it in a sealed container. Okay? Now, what else do we need in there? Something else that can go in there is a pregnancy kit. For some women who are hoping that, they'll be pregnant that Christmas. There's one that is right here. This one, you do not need to bleed yourself. This is just your urine. That's a pregnancy test kit. You open it.
Uh-oh.
It's so easy to use.
Who's testing?
This can
Now
also
that
go.
you've opened it.
Yes, this can also go. So you just put see the way it comes. It's fabulous. It actually serves 2 purposes. It serves 2 purposes. That's the test strip right there. The moment you put your urine in there, it shows you whether you're pregnant or not. 2 positive signs.